Hello everybody. We take a topic today in indirect taxation of our VTU MBA syllabus. In that module 3 deals with time of supply, place of supply and value of supply. So we try to concentrate on problematic element, numerical problems on time of supply. So time of supply of goods and services can be learned under section 12 and under section 13 of CGST Act 2017. In that we need to learn forward charge, continuous supply, reverse charge, vouchers and residual, which is applicable for both goods as well as services. Have a look into this. Here we need to learn time of supply in two cases. Roman number 1 we shall take into consideration goods. Roman number 2 we shall be taking into consideration services. In Roman number 1, that is the time of supply of goods, in short form we call it as TOSG, only for our understanding. So in that, forward charge will be taken into consideration. Time of supply of goods in that forward charge. If you are taking forward charge, what is the forward charge? Where the service provider is liable for GST payment, that is called as forward charge. In case of forward charge, how do you determine time of supply? So time of supply in case of forward charge shall be the earliest of date of invoice is issued, date on which payment is recorded in the books and date on which payment is credited. For example, if 3 dates are there, let us assume date of issue of invoice is 10th March. Date on which payment is recorded is 12th March. Date on which payment is credited is 12th March. Look into these three, 10th March, 12th March, 12th March, which is time of supply. Time of supply shall be earliest of 10th March, 12th March, 12th March. So here this is earliest, so this shall be taken as time of supply. Another example. Let us take, this is 16th February, this is 18th February, this is 2nd February. In these three, which is the earliest? 2nd February, 18th February, 16th February. 2nd February is the earliest. That shall be taken as time of supply in case of forward charge of goods. We shall take few problems for our easy understanding of time of supply in each cases. In that, we shall proceed with forward charge in time of supply of goods. In that, question number 1 is like this: serial number, date of removal of goods, nothing but goods dispatched date, date of invoice is issued, date of receipt of goods, date of receipt of payment. So 4 dates are given. We need to take earliest of only 3: date of removal, date of invoice, date of receipt of goods, date of receipt of payment. 4 are given. Look at the serial number 1. Date of removal of goods is given as 5th January 2018. So date of invoice issued is 6th January 2018. Date of receipt of goods is on 7th January 2018. Date of receipt of payment is on 19th February 2018. Likewise, it is given in serial number 2, serial number 3. Look at the solution for question number 1. In the question, they have given us serial number, date of removal, date of issue of invoice, date of payment received. But along with these 3, they also had given us date of removal of goods, which we don't take into consideration. So because of which that column has been removed. I am taking only 3 columns here, that is date of removal of goods, nothing but dispatch, date of issue of invoice, date of payment received. Before solving the problem, look at the condition. Working note is required. For every problem you need to write your working note to clarify or to justify your answer. So earliest of date of issue of invoice. Date of issue of invoice is there in every serial number. Date of payment received in the books. Date of payment received in the books is nothing but on which date you have recorded nothing but the date on which you sent the goods shall be taken as date of payment recorded in the books. And third one is date of payment credited, that is nothing but date of payment received. In these three, whichever is earlier according to the working note, 5th January, 6th January, 19th February, which is earlier, that is 5th January, that is should be taken as the time of supply. 5th January 2018 shall be taken as time of supply because it is the earliest of these three: date of issue of invoice, date of payment recorded in the books, date of payment credited in the books. Date of payment in the books is same as date of removal or dispatch of goods. Next, 7th January 2018, 5th January 2018, 29th February 2018. In these three, whichever is earlier, 5th January 2018 is earliest, so that shall be taken as the time of supply. And the third one is 8th February, 1st January, which should be taken in these three, whichever is earlier. 1st January 2018 is earliest of these three. So after learning the first question solution, let us proceed with second question. Look at question number 2. I have taken the important elements of question number 2. Advance received is 1500. Invoice value is 1100. The date of payment received is, since the advance is receiving, whenever the advance is received, it will be prior to the date of invoice. So that is 25th April 2018. When will be the issue of invoice? When the goods are delivered, that is in the month of May, 14th May 2018. So after giving you this data, they are asking you what is the time of supply and what is the due date of payment of tax in GST. Look here. Advance received is how much? 1500. Invoice value is how much? 1100. Date of payment received is 25th April. Date of invoice is 14th May 2018. Once this is your question, you need to go with the solution. In this kind of questions, whenever the advance amount is received, you have to be very careful. If advance amount and the invoice value, if the difference is less than 1000, what is the difference between invoice value and advance received? 400. So which is less than 1000? If the advance amount received and invoice value difference is 1000 or less than 1000, then there is a choice. As far as the time of supply is concerned. Then what can be the time of supply? The time of supply, if the difference between advance received and invoice value is less than 1000, either it may be 25th April or it may be 14th May. So therefore, time of supply can be either 25th April or 14th May. When this can be done? The choice will be given if the difference between these two is less than 1000 rupees. So this is the answer for point number A. Then what is the answer for point number B? Due date for payment. As we all know, due date for any payment of tax will be the next month after completion of 1 month. For example, for the month of April, when will be the due date? May 20th will be the due date. If this is taken as the time of supply, then this is in the month of May. The due date for tax will be in the month of June, that is 20th June. Then due date shall be, if they are taking time of supply as 25th April, then due date will be, this is in the month of April, so we need to take 20th May 2018 as a due date for tax payment. So if they are considering time of supply as 14th May 2018, then the due date, this is in the month of May, so we need to consider 20th, this is in the month of May, we need to consider June, 20th June 2018. So this is the solution. Always do remember, due date will be on the basis of time of supply. From the time of supply, next month 20th will be taken as due date. If the difference between these two is less than 1000, then the time of supply shall be on the choice or at the choice of these two, either it can be 25th April or it can be 14th May. These are the two problems on time of supply in case of forward charge. So we are moving ahead with another case in time of supply of goods, that is continuous supply of goods. What do you mean by continuous supply? If goods are not delivered by the supplier to the recipient in one single installment, there will be different installment, let us say after 1 month, after 2 months, after 3 months, after 5 months. Then when the goods are supplied continuously throughout the year as agreed upon between the supplier of goods and recipient of goods, then the time of supply shall be different. So what will be the time of supply? Time of supply shall be date of statement issued or date of payment received. What is this date of statement? As and when the goods are supplied in the continuous supply of goods, for every 1 month or every 15 days, the goods, along with the goods, the statement will be sent. So this is the statement, this is the statement. That date of issue of statement should be taken into consideration. Then date of payment should be taken into consideration. In these two, whichever comes earlier, whichever is the earliest, that can be taken as time of supply. But do remember, while taking point number 1, that is the date of statement, along with the date of statement, they will also mention date of issue of invoice. If both are given, then you need to make point number 1 very clear. In the point number 1 only you need to make date of statement or date of invoice, whichever is earlier, that should be taken in point number 1. After taking the earliest of these two in point number 1, you need to compare with the date of payment received. In these two, whichever is earlier, that can be taken as time of supply in case of continuous supply of goods. So we shall see problem number 3 and problem number 4 on the basis of continuous supply of goods. Look at the question number 3, which is on the basis of continuous supply of goods. Birla Company entered into a contract with Mr. Ravish, who is a registered person under GST. Birla Company will be supplying cement to Mr. Ravish as per the agreement on continuous supply basis. As and when Birla Company supplies the cement, then Birla Company will be issuing a monthly statement to Mr. Ravish. Okay, this is the data given, and after this they are asking you determine the time of supply in these two cases. Case number 1, situation number 1, where the date of payment will be 31st March 2018 and the date of statement shall be 5th April 2018. Look at this. Time of supply shall be earliest of date of statement issued, date of payment received. Date of payment 31st March, date of statement 5th April. In these two, whichever is earlier, 31st March or 5th April? 31st March. That shall be taken as time of supply. Look at the case number 2. Date of payment is not received up to 31st May. So that is to say, date of payment is not yet received. So this is not applicable. Then date of statement is 10th May. In these two, whichever is earlier, since the payment is not yet received, which comes earlier? Date of statement. So in these two, this shall be taken as time of supply. We'll look at the solution. Look at the solution part of question number 3. Determination of time of supply. We need to consider the earliest date of time of statement issue, time of payment received. There is nothing but date of statement and date of payment, whichever is earlier. Look at the situation number 1. They have given two dates to us in the question. What is the first date given? Time of supply shall be in the case number 1. That is, two dates are given. One is the date of statement. What is the date of statement and the date of payment? Date of statement here is 31st March. Date of payment is given as 31st March and statement issued on 5th April. In these two, whichever is earlier, so 31st March or 5th April. Therefore, time of supply shall be 31st March 2018. This is the solution for case number 1. Case number 2. Again, time of supply shall be date of statement or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Date of statement is given as 10th May. So 10th May 2018 is given as date of statement. Payment is not received up to the May month ending. Up to 31st May, payment is not yet received. We can take it as not applicable. Payment is not yet received. It is due. So in these two, whichever is earlier, we can't take not applicable. So therefore, time of supply shall be 10th May 2018. So this is the solution for question number T3 in case of continuous supply of goods. Look at one more question which is on the basis of continuous supply of goods. That is question number 4. Here they have given 3 serial number, 3 scenarios, 3 situations where we need only 2 dates, but they have given us 4 different dates. Date of invoice is given, date of receipt of goods is given, date of statement issued is given, date of payment received is also given. Among the 4 dates, we do require only 2 dates. So date of issue of invoice, which is not yet there in our condition. What is the condition for time of supply? Time of supply shall be date of statement or date of payment, whichever is earlier. But do remember, when date of invoice and date of statement both are given, we need to compare date of invoice with the date of statement, whichever is earlier. 1st March or 10th March, whichever is earlier, 1st March. So that should be taken in point number 1. So that is to be compared with date of payment. Then 1st March or 4th March, whichever is earlier, 1st March. So in these 4 dates, which is not required for us, date of receipt of goods is not important for us. So goods are dispatched in 2 different installment. One is on 15th February, other one is on 20th February. We are not taking this column into consideration. Look at serial number 2. 25th April is given, 10th April is given. Date of invoice is 25th April, date of statement is 10th April. Compare these two, this with this, 25th April or 10th April, which comes earlier? 10th April. Now the 10th April is to be compared with 15th April. 10th April or 15th April, whichever is earlier, 10th April. Look at serial number 3, situation number 3. 10th May is given, 5th April is given. 10th May or 5th April, whichever is earlier, 5th April. 5th April is to be compared with 1st January. So 5th April or 1st January, which comes earlier? 1st January comes earlier. That shall be taken as time of supply. So in the 4 dates, 4 column, which is not at all required by us, date of receipt of goods is not required for us. So we'll have a look on the solution. Look at the solution part of our question number 4, determination of time of supply. As we all know, the time of supply shall be earliest of date of statement or date of payment, whichever is earlier. But in the situations like where date of statement and date of invoices both are given, in the point number 1 itself we need to compare these 2 dates and take the earliest. Look here, in serial number 1 they have given 10th March or 1st March, whichever is earlier, 1st March. Now you need to compare with the 1st March or 4th March, whichever is earlier. In these two, the time of supply shall be 1st March 2018. Same the case with serial number 2. They are given 10th April or 25th April, whichever is earlier, 10th April. Compare 10th April with 15th April, whichever is earlier. Therefore, time of supply shall be 10th April or 15th April? 10th April. Look at serial number 3. They are given 5th March or 10th May, whichever is earlier, 5th April is given. So 5th April compared with 1st January. 5th April or 1st January, whichever is earlier, time of supply shall be earliest of these 2 dates. So therefore it is 1st January 2018.